Good day, mate. Welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another FPL video. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through my team selection ahead of game week 36. We'll also be looking at how I got on in double game week 35 so far. Obviously, not all the games are finished yet. We still have Chelsea versus Spurs to be played in midweek, but we'll look at how my team's got on and then look forward to game week 36 and potential transfers, captaincy option and all of that. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe and smash a like on this video too. Let's try and get to 25 likes.
Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game. Where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top. Guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
So now we'll get on to how my team did perform in double game week 35. So I did end up going for Petrovic in goal. He only got 2 points. He got a save point and then he conceded 2 goals, so -1, ended up on 2. And he's going to be playing Spurs at home next, which will be a tough game for him to keep a clean sheet. And to be honest, I actually couldn't see him keeping a clean sheet in either of these games, but I think the fact that he's got a double game week is good enough reason to put him in the team and hope for save points, hope for maybe 1 clean sheet out of the 2 game weeks. And yeah, I wasn't really expecting too much, to be totally honest with you. And to be honest, my other option would have been Vicario, who obviously conceded 3. Maybe someone like Raya, who obviously conceded, and then Edison, who's on my bench, who we'll talk about a bit later on, but he got taken off at half time with an injury. Pedro Porro up next. One point, a little bit disappointing for him. He obviously conceded 3 goals, but probably should have had an assist. His terms of expected assist was 0.29, which is pretty good. And yeah, he should have had an assist for a disallowed goal. But yeah, it's just one of them things, I guess. Maguire 2 points, Burn 2 points, disappointing. But I know a lot of people did go for Shah instead of Burn, and obviously Shah came off injured. So I'm counting myself lucky with that one, even though Burn didn't return. And Maguire, so close to a clean sheet, so close. Obviously, Burnley got that penalty towards, near enough the last minute of the game, so it meant that Man United's clean sheet was a wipeout, and Maguire ended up on 2 points. Midfield was a bit better though, so Gordon, 10 points, 2 assists, 2 bonus. Yeah, I'm just so glad that I own him, to be totally honest with you. He's punished me for the last couple of game weeks, and even earlier on in the season, I did bring him in. He started to do well, then he got that suspension, then I took him out, and then he smashed it ever since. And to be honest, his home form this season has been ridiculous. I think he's only got 2 returns in away games, so it goes to show he's got 25 returns this season, so and most of them being at home, so ridiculous. And what a player. Cole Palmer blanked against Aston Villa. I'd say pretty unlucky not to get an assist in one of them. But yeah, for me, I do fancy him to do well against Spurs. Obviously, we know Spurs defensively are not the best, and I think Cole Palmer at home, should get a return in that game. Heung-min Son got the penalty, got a goal, 7 points. Pretty happy with him. Yes, a lot of people maybe did go for him captain over Palmer. For me, even though I do love Sonny, I think every time I've captained him this season, he's blanked, so I just didn't want to put that on him, considering how crucial these next 2 games were for Spurs. So I decided to not have him captain, and he obviously did deliver a goal, but obviously not the result for Spurs. Bruno Fernandes with 2 bonus. To be honest, I watched this game and he looked very, very good, very creative. And to get 2 bonus when you haven't scored, haven't assisted, I think is very, very good and shows how well he did play in this game. Hopefully he can get a goal and assist in the next game though. Up front, Isak, obviously 13 points. Again, 2 goals, 3 bonus, just on fire at the minute. Up to 19 goals this season, and yeah, he looks very, very good in that game. And Nicholas Jackson, who I don't know how he didn't score, to be totally honest with you. I know a lot of people probably say I told you so with Nicholas Jackson, but at least he's getting the chances, and I think it's just a matter of time before he does get a massive haul. Hopefully it's not against Spurs as a Spurs fan, but hopefully it is pretty soon. Also, Foden didn't play, so Haaland came off my bench with 5 points. Yeah, can't complain with that one, to come off the bench with 28 minutes to go and get a goal. Yeah, can't really complain with that too much. And obviously he didn't get any bonus because he only played about 28 minutes. But yeah, happy that he did come off the bench, get some minutes, and hopefully he can start in the next game week. Let's get on to that team selection now. So for the team selection for game week 36, the goalkeeper situation, so I did mention it. Ederson came off injured with a shoulder injury. He's in a sling. Pep said it doesn't look good, so I can probably see him being out for at least the next couple game weeks, if not until the end of the season. So Petrovic is starting for now. Obviously, transfers, I do have a transfer, but for me, it's a bit difficult at the minute because I need to know if he actually is out. If he is out, I'll probably go for Ortega. If it's only a couple weeks or there's a bit of he could return before the end of the season or something that's not too concrete that he's going to be out, I'll probably play Petrovic and then see what happens before game week 37 and then maybe go for someone like Onana or even David Raya. But for now, I'm going to play Petrovic. It's not the worst fixture. West Ham at home. Yes, West Ham do score goals, but yeah, for me, I'm not sure it's worth taking that risk at the moment unless we do get concrete news about Ederson. If we do get that, and then I'll bring in Ortega. He's only about I think he might be 4.7 million. So he's dirt cheap. It allows me to bank up a bit of money and maybe use in game week 38 to bring in some Liverpool and some Arsenal assets. In defence, Branthwaite gets a start against Luton away, so 3 clean sheets in a row for him and 3 clean sheets in a row for Everton. He managed to get a goal in game week 34 as well against Liverpool, and for me, although Everton are safe, I think they're going to want to accumulate as many points as possible because they don't know if they might get another, I guess, another deducted points or another this or another ban or something like that. So I think they just want to keep going, keep winning, keep keeping clean sheets. And I think their next 2 games, Luton away, Sheffield United at home, is a good place to do that. So that's why I'm starting Branthwaite. Hopefully he can get a goal. This season he's got 3 goals, which is pretty good for a defender for Everton. So hopefully he can pop up with another goal for me because, yeah, it will be nice to get a nice pick from him because he was, I guess, one of my most differential picks on the wild card. A lot of people were going double Arsenal defence and obviously a Newcastle, Spurs and Man United defender. But I couldn't afford double Arsenal defence, so I did go for Branthwaite instead. Next up, Gabriel against Bournemouth at home. Yeah, a fixture I'm expecting Arsenal to keep a clean sheet in, although Bournemouth are on good form and have been on good form for, I guess, the last 3 quarters of the season. Obviously, the first quarter of the season they did struggle, didn't win in 8 games, I think it was. So, yeah, but now I think Gabriel, good fixture at home. Arsenal obviously confident on the back of their win recently. I won't say against who, but yeah, I think I'm confident of Gabriel keeping a clean sheet in this game and just hopefully he can get an attacking return too. Dan Burn as well gets a nod, so Burnley away. I can't really see a clean sheet in this one because of the amount of injuries Newcastle have to their defence. Obviously, Shah's come off injured now as well, so yeah, it depends. Obviously, if they get a few players back from injury, then the defence might look okay, but yeah, it's going to be bare bones, I think, against Burnley, and Burnley are in good form. They haven't they've lost 1 in the last 9 games. Obviously, that's 6 draws, but still, 6 draws is still points, and I think Burnley are in good form at the minute. And to be honest, I can see them causing Newcastle through problems, especially with the defensive frailties and the fact that Newcastle, I just don't think are as good away from home. Next up, we'll go on to the midfield. So before the midfield, I am deciding to start Gordon. I know a lot of people might be benching Gordon this week because it's an away game. As I've said, he is much better at home. But for me, I think Burnley, albeit they are looking better, I still think they're going to leave some cracks in their defence, and I think Gordon can capitalise on that. And I think the fact that Burnley probably have to get a result and they maybe have to win or have to get a draw, I think if they're losing or drawing, then they might want to push a bit more forward and leave a few men behind so Gordon can run in behind, etc. So for me, I think Gordon has to start. His form at the minute, the way Newcastle are scoring goals at the minute too, yeah, I think he's got to start for me. But I completely understand people leaving him out. I understand that, but I think the fact that he plays Burnley, obviously one of the worst teams in the league throughout the season, but obviously they're in pretty good form at the minute. I can just still see Newcastle scoring a couple goals in that game. Fernandes up next, Crystal Palace away. I can't see Man United winning this game at all, but I think with Fernandes, you never know. Penalty, even if he doesn't score assists, he gets bonus these days. So for me, Fernandes has done enough the last few game weeks for me to want to start him against Palace. 10 goals, 8 assists so far this season, but obviously most of them have come in the last 10, 15 game weeks. So for me, because he's on pens, because he's on form at the minute, he's starting in the midfield. Phil Foden also gets a start. Obviously, he did miss game week 35. I've heard it's just the illness, so he should be back for Wolves at home, and I think this can be a nice fixture for him. Man City are very, very good at home. Wolves have, I guess, slightly dipped off recently. I know, I guess the weekend just gone, they just beat Luton, but I think since their, I guess, previous form of, say, game week 20 to 30, I think they have slightly dipped off, but I can see that being a Man City win to 3 or 4-0. So for me, Foden is a good player to have this week. I'm just hoping he does recover from that illness. And Heung-min Son, at the minute, does get the nod against Liverpool away. It is a tough one, to be totally honest with you. I've got 8 great attackers in terms of midfielders and forwards, but I think Sonny, being on penalties, being, I guess, playing one of the better teams away from home, he's going to be running in behind. Liverpool look very fragile at the minute. Salah's fighting with Klopp's moaning with Salah on the sideline. Salah's telling people in the interviews that if he speaks, it's going to be fire. So there's obviously some sort of issues going on at Liverpool at the minute, and I think Son can capitalise on that, and Spurs can as well. And they're going to need to win to have any chance of finishing top 4. So they can't really go there and maybe secure a draw or whatever. And obviously Spurs have already beaten Liverpool this season, so I guess it's not a tall feat to do that again, albeit Anfield is a difficult place to go, but Liverpool have actually fallen off a lot the last few game weeks, and I can see Spurs going there and just running right a little bit, to be totally honest with you, and scoring a few goals. So Son does play. I wouldn't be playing Spurs defenders, which is why I got Porro on the bench, but I think Son being on pens, his record against the big six, running in from behind, yeah, I can vouch for Son to play him this week. Cole Palmer is also in the team with West Ham at home. We know how leaky West Ham are in terms of conceding goals, and we know how brilliant Cole Palmer is. 30 returns this season, 20 goals, 10 assists, only 24 starts. Obviously blanked against Villa in game week 35, but I think this match against West Ham at home, I can see him doing very, very well. And for me, I can see him performing in this game and maybe getting a goal and assist. Let's get on to the forwards. So for the forwards, we'll start off with Alexander Isak. So he's got Burnley away as well, just like Gordon. Obviously, I've mentioned he's just scored 2 goals in game week 35 against Sheffield United. The geezer's on fire. Obviously, Callum Wilson did come back from injury, got a goal in game week 35. But one thing to note is when he did come off the bench, Isak stayed on the pitch. So maybe there's a way that both of them can play together. We know that when they do play together, Isak is not as good as when he's on his own. So that is something to take into consideration if maybe you are wanting to captain Isak at some point. But for now, I can't really see Wilson starting. I think he might start in a double game week, but that doesn't mean Isak will make way. I think it could be Isak, Wilson and Gordon as a kind of front three. And yeah, for me, there's no way you're not going to be starting him, especially against Burnley. Yes, like I said, they've been looking better recently, but they're going to be needing the win, to be honest. So I think Newcastle can capitalise on that. And I think double Newcastle attack is going to be very threatening, considering a lot of people might be benching Gordon this week. Haaland up next, Wolves at home. I can see this being a hat-trick, to be totally honest with you. I know Wolves are a half-decent side, but I think they've got a lot of injuries. They had to field a 15-year-old or something against Arsenal, so yeah, for me, Haaland's going to feast in this game. I think he's going to score a hat-trick. He's obviously come back from his injury, got half an hour, got a goal. Man City, very, very good at home. I can't see anything but a 3-0, 4-0 Man City win and a Haaland brace minimum, to be totally honest with you, and that's why he's going to be my captain. Nicholas Jackson drops to the bench with West Ham at home. Not ideal, considering, again, how many goals West Ham concede. I just feel like the players I've got, I think Nicholas Jackson is the least clinical, I'd say, and the least, I guess, trustworthy to put the ball in the back of the net. So you've got Gordon, who's on fire. Bruno Fernandes, you can maybe argue that it might be worth dropping him, considering Palace are in good form. It's away from home. But I think with his pens, I don't think it's worth that. Foden, again, missed last game, but we know how devastating he can be. Son, pens as well. Away at Liverpool can be a tough game, but I think Liverpool do look a shadow of themselves at the minute, so I think Tottenham can actually capitalise on that. Palmer, West Ham at home. I'd rather Palmer over Jackson with the same fixture. And then Isak, Burnley away, no way I'm dropping him, and no way I'm dropping Haaland. So for me, it's probably Jackson versus Fernandes and Gordon. You could argue that Gordon versus Jackson is probably the right call because Fernandes is on pens, but I just don't really want to drop Gordon at the minute, and especially not for someone like Jackson who does miss a lot of chances. Also on the bench, you've got Pedro Porro, Liverpool away. Yes, I do fancy Spurs to win this game, but I can see Liverpool scoring, as I do with any team that plays Spurs. So Pedro Porro's on the bench. And to be honest, he didn't really do enough mid against Arsenal to show that he actually is attacking. And he did try and almost get an assist, but I needed to see a little bit more for him. And then Maguire against Palace on the bench too. That's it for this video. Please make sure you do like and subscribe. New to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe. Content, 2 videos a week, and yeah, good luck for the game week.